Hey everybody, Seth Campbell here with the new Segue Says podcast. Well, this episode is the first of its kind, I think, because it's the first time to my recollection that we've had two songs by female solo artists, singers, in the same episode. Not because I don't love songs by solo female artists, but because as a solo male artist, it can be difficult for me to cover the songs and do them any justice, but I'm going to try. The two artists we have this time are both legends in their own right, Stevie Nicks and Kate Bush. And the songs are Stand Back and Running Up That Hill. We've seen some Stevie Nicks songs before, obviously, in terms of songs that she did with Fleetwood Mac. And Kate Bush we've seen before because she was the duet singer of the Peter Gabriel song Don't Give Up, which was in the last episode. But this is the first time, I believe, we're seeing both of them as solo artists. You know, you do over 100 episodes, it can be difficult to keep them all straight, but I'm pretty sure this is the first time this has happened. Now, obviously, as a male singer, I've had to change the keys of these songs to properly do any sort of justice to them. I've put them both in G minor. Stand Back is originally in B minor, and Running Up That Hill is originally in C minor, but I've decided to do them both in G minor just because it suits my voice a little better. Now, Stand Back is from Stevie Nicks' second solo album, I believe it was second, The Wild Heart. And the studio version is great. My personal favorite version, there's a box set of Fleetwood Mac called The Chain. It's a 4-disc set. It's released for their 25th anniversary. It's kind of hard to find, but if you can find it, there's a live version of Stevie singing this with Fleetwood Mac that I personally, that's my favorite version of it. So if you can find that, give it a listen. But most of the song follows a similar pattern of chords. And so if you're looking at G minor as the 1 minor, the pattern is the flat 6, which is E flat major, the flat 7, which is F major, and then the 1, which is the G minor. And sometimes it goes back to the flat 6 at the end of the pattern, but most of the song is based around that. The lengths of the chords can change, but the pattern is pretty much the same. Now, there's a funny story about the writing of this song, actually, because Stevie Nicks was listening to the Prince song Little Red Corvette. I'm almost certain it was Little Red Corvette. And really liked the synth part and was kind of writing an idea around it. And eventually she ended up with this song, but she wanted to make sure it was okay with Prince first. So she called him and said, you know, hey, I've written this song around, you know, the keyboard groove, is that all right with you? And he said, yeah, it's absolutely fine. Do you need anybody to play the keyboard part on your record? And she said, you know, come to think of it, why not? So, like musicians apparently did back in the day, Prince just came to the studio, recorded the track, you know, said thanks and goodbye, and left. And that was that. That's a fun little story. And that synth part is very central to the feel of the song. A verse chorus of which goes something like this. No one looked as I walked by, just an invitation would have been just fine. Said no to him again and again. First he took my heart, then he ran. No one understands just how I feel. What I say unless you read between my lines. One man did not come, just he took my love, that was all. That's the wrong ending, my mistake. Stand back, in the middle of the room. I did not hear from you, but it's alright, to be standing in that line. Oh, to be standing in that line. I was. I'm having trouble with the lyrics of this one. I have tried to film this episode so many times. I don't know what it is. I'm having trouble with the lyrics, but I'm just going to press onward because I really want to get this done. So that gives you a sense. It's a very powerful song, very fast song. Like most of Stevie Nicks' writing, it's a little difficult to tell exactly what the lyrics are about, but my interpretation is that it's from the perspective of a woman who's frustrated at not being able to find a really meaningful relationship because, you know, sometimes she looks for too much, sometimes she looks for too little, and it isn't working out. Now, another song of frustration would be Running Up That Hill / Deal With God by Kate Bush. It just, as far as I can tell, seems to be, you know, like a, you know, quest for meaning, for purpose, and for understanding. Though again, Kate Bush also writes in a way that sometimes it's unclear what the message is. It's a little abstract. But this was on her album, The Hounds of Love. It's a great record. And again, originally in C minor, I brought it down to G minor for my own voice. But this one has a synth pattern. Sound familiar, at least what I'm doing with the left hand? It's that E flat, F, G minor again. Happens to be the same thing. Now obviously the songs are originally in different keys from each other, but in both cases it's flat 6, flat 7, 1 minor. So I say we can get away with it. Now, much like the previous one, there's another version of this song, if you can find it, for an Amnesty International show. Kate Bush teamed up with David Gilmour of Pink Floyd, and they put together like a more driving rock version of it, and that's my favorite version of this one. I love it. So that's kind of the way I play it. You may hear a little bit of difference from the original in that sense, but a verse chorus of that one goes something like this. Hurt me. Do you want to feel how it feels? Do you want to know that it doesn't hurt me? Do you want to hear about the deal I'm making? It's you and me. If I only could make a deal with God, I'd get him to swap our places. Be running up that road, running up that hill, running up that building. If I only could. So as you can hear, it follows a similar pattern at a very similar tempo. And so this one it's a fairly simple segue, and it definitely works as a back and forth. Now, I like to start with Stand Back at the moment. I'm still unsure, because it can work either way. But, now, Stand Back in the chorus does this pattern double time. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Whereas Running Up That Hill, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you'll remember the verse of Stand Back, the only difference is that last chord, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you were to just replace that last chord with holding on the G minor for a second bar, suddenly it's the same thing. So how would you go about this? Well, after I play a B minor because it's originally in B minor, the end of Stand Back, you could be standing in it, stand back. You could be standing in, stand back. You could be standing in it, stand back. It's doing the chorus rhythm. You can just go back to the verse groove. And then just replace the synth part from Stand Back with the synth part from Running Up That Hill. left hand, once you do that, you just replace the last chord to hold on G minor for 2 bars instead of going back to the E flat on the 4th bar of the pattern. So it's fairly simple. Just like that, you change songs. Doesn't hurt me, yeah, yeah, yeah. Doesn't feel how it feels. And there you go. Now to switch back, the form of the verse chorus is a little different at the end, since Kate Bush is very much an experimental artist, much like Peter Gabriel, and that's why they work so well together when we talked about them last week, or last episode. I say this like this is still a weekly podcast. I'm trying. But in any event, you have the end. Come on, angel, come on, darling, let me steal this moment from you now. Notice how it goes back to the flat 6 there. Come on, angel, come on, darling, let's exchange the experience now. If only could deal with God, get him to swap our places. Running up that road, running up that hill, no problems. Because it does it in the bridge, you can just start going back to the E flat in the 4th bar of the pattern. 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, G minor, 2, 3, 4, E flat, 2, 3, 4. And at that point, you just start bringing in the stand back synth pattern. If you did stand back first, you can just go right into a chorus. Stand back, in the middle of the room. I did not hear from you, but it's alright, it's alright. You could be standing in that line. Or if you haven't, you could just go right to the first verse. No one looked as I walked by, just an invitation would have been just fine. Works either way. So there you go. You can do this. You can start with one or the other, go into the other, and then come back, or just do one into the other, however you please. So that pretty much sums it up. So hopefully I was able to do justice to these songs. Obviously, you know, I'm very much a different singer than Kate Bush and Stevie Nicks, but I did my best. So hopefully you've enjoyed. Hopefully you've learned something. I will see you next time.